Hello, this is a quick tutorial for warring factions. Gonna get you started, get you an account, get you in the game, show you how to play everything basics, and then go from there. We'll start with creating an account. It's pretty simple. Let's get your login name. That's going to be what you put on this login screen, and then your username is going to be what people see you as in the game. Your empire name is just going to be your basic sort of civilization's name within the game. Doesn't actually show up that much, but you have to have one. Put in your password, use something good. And make sure you include a real email address. Down here you have the option of which team you're going to join, which faction. There isn't necessarily any difference between them at this point in the game. It says here you have a growth modifier that's turned on later on. At the moment it doesn't actually have any effect. But the team which is ahead will have a lower modifier, so they'll be growing at 88% rather than 100%, and the team that's slightly losing would have a slightly higher one. Down here you have the Lost. This team or faction is specifically designed for advanced players. It starts you in the middle of nowhere by yourself, nobody around you, no idea where you are, you're just somewhere, and you can be easily preyed upon if you're not a skilled player or you don't know lots of people to start alliances and stuff. So jump in there if you're feeling pretty fruity, but otherwise just select one of the regular factions. Let's join the blue team. The red team sucks. Oh. Whoops. It's too long. I made this, I should know that. So it's now sent us an email, which is good. You have to go click that email. It might have gone into your spam folder. Click the validation email link in there, and away you go. That was when we built those defensive units, colony defenses earlier. It tells us they've now finished building, which is good. You can filter this so you can see science stuff, exploration stuff, fleet command stuff. We haven't had many yet, so it's not showing up too much. But eventually it's just if you want to find a specific thing the next day. Starlog pager is this weird thing. I don't know. This kind of makes a sound. It shows you when the next tick is going to arrive, so you can leave this open somewhere else. And you know when the next tick has arrived. I think it also pings when you get Starlog messages. I don't know, I didn't make it. Anyway, let's go back to join an empire. So here we go, here's a list of all the empires available in the universe which are accepting new members. None of them are Archons, which is the faction we're in, which kind of sucks, because we would like to join one. But what we'll do, we'll join this one. This guy seems cool. See the information about it here. See the people that are currently in there. Normally we would have a charter here, but this guy decided not to put one in. And it shows you the diplomacy between them and the rest of the universe's empires. Currently this empire has not discovered any others, because they're quite far away from everyone else, so they have no diplomatic standings with any of the other factions or empires. So that won't show up there. They have no ambassadors, which you can speak to about that joining that empire. But we can click apply here, and we're now applied to join that faction. And I will just go over and accept that. Okay, I have now been accepted into this empire, so you can see here I am. I have no score yet because the score hasn't updated. And now that I'm in the empire properly, I can see the log, so I can see people that have joined and left. And I can see the bank. And tax income, so you can tax people in the empire, so you might find that you're missing less money than you normally have. This is normally set to a small amount, especially early on. Later on, it can be raised quite a bit higher. And you have accounts, so down here there's one bank account. Let's donate 1 credit to it. You donated 1 credit to it, it now has 1 credit in the balance. This balance could just be used for things throughout the empire. If they want to run research projects or trains or mining developments, this just gives you one way to everybody to chip in. Let's go down to the forum where everybody lives. So this is the announcements forum. This is the place to go if you want to find information, rule changes, things like that. It's the information on the latest round. This is when we're developing the new interface. This is the new coin system. Now this is just about scripts. This is when we used to have premium. That should probably go. And this is research changes. So these are just important things which have changed in the game that everybody should know. That was just me getting accepted. This is the place to go for your noob questions. Helpful people here give you all kinds of information. This one was the old thread, and the first post was back in 2008, and this was the second version of this, which is just quite as long. This game's been going since 2002, I think, 2003 maybe. It's been around a long time. It's changed a lot. This new interface was just done last year, 2014, 2015. So all this information in this old thread will be basically useless, because most of it will have changed. But everybody's got questions. Don't be afraid to ask them. This is the current thread. You can see people are happy to put a lot of information out. Everybody will give you different answers, which doesn't always help. Everybody has their own special way of doing things. There's no guaranteed right answers, but most people will try and help you out. How you can help, this is just where if people are making the game need any help, want you to throw in your hat for increasing the user base, general chit chat, just mess around, flame wars, what it does, blah blah blah. This is where people talk around the round. This is always the thread. People would go and post their populations and wave them around. This is the one I was looking for. This is your faction empire. Sorry, your faction forum. So this will be where people in your faction will be coordinating. At the moment there isn't much. Everybody's just started this game. It's been running for a day at this point, so not too much is happening. So people are still joining the game. This will kind of be where you organize all your stuff. This guy has written a couple of guides which you should read. You can go see these when you're on a forum by yourselves. You can put smileys on stuff. They're all pretty bad. So yeah, you just post replies, quotes, send messages. You can edit them if you've posted them yourselves, or you can delete them. That's the only message in there at the moment. I was hoping there would be more. Go see the high scores. This is what everybody that's playing at the moment. You can see you all have release, but it's basically pointless. It's a good way of keeping track of your military score though. If somebody builds a huge fleet, even though they say they're at peace, they're probably lying, and they're probably going to try and kill you. You'll be down there somewhere. Probably at the bottom, maybe below. There is the suggestion forum for posting suggestions, and bug track. So if you have a bug, at the bottom of all the page there's report bug on this page. You click that, it'll send you here with most of this information filled in, and you can report the bug. You just send it through to the devs like me, who will then ignore it. House of Commerce, there's nothing here because it's new, but this will be where you can go and say, hey, I have this really cool blueprint, who wants to buy it for this much money? And the people will go, I would never pay that much money. Now this is just people talking about old stuff. If you want to go there, and it's people talking about old stuff. There you go. United Empires, the leaders of empires will be able to visit this forum, so they can discuss treaties and important strategic things and defensive pacts and whatever. Founding members, this will be your forum for your own empire, so there's nothing here because this guy hates everybody. The radio doesn't really work anymore, but we used to have a radio running, and role-playing is just for people to post RP and character stories for everybody to read and respond, as long as you respond in character. Does that. Let's move around the interface a bit, show you some more stuff. Again, send money. We can't do it today, but it basically looks the same as send message. You can send messages to your empire, so you can send individual players, and you can also send them just to your entire empire. And you can send them in different ways. So if you want to send a declaration of war, or a peace treaty, a defense treaty, or a tech disclosure, that will disclose all of the blueprints you have to everybody. So you don't really want to do that because it will just fill up their blueprints with all of your useless stuff. But if somebody's new, like somebody might want to send them all their stuff, so you might get a disclosure from your empire. Click send, it gets sent. Go to your style log, there you go. You can respond by going back to send message and send a message to empire. Or if you want to do it, you can click empire there, or if you want to send it to that person directly, you can click on their name. So our known players now is this guy that's in our faction, in our empire, sorry. And here's a friend, and you can see here whether he's online or not. He is not online. This guy is online. It will tell you the last time they were online. Once he's been online, it will show up here. And you can send peace treaties, declare war, or block them if they're sending you abusive messages or you just don't like them. Command centers. This is where you're going to have your main sort of administration of your empire. This colony administration, this is how many colonies you have, the total population of your empire, and the amount of corruption. This isn't really going to exist for much longer in its current form, but the corruption is if you have a massive empire and you have lots of colonies which are all small and far away from each other, there will be corruption. It will lower your income. Here is your income, here is your average wealth across your entire empire. Just a good way to keep track of stuff without worrying about going into colonies. Your account status, this just shows you your account, how long it's existed. This stuff doesn't really matter anymore. Here you can just see what you've explored, how much you've explored. Some people have crazy numbers here. It's very... these are all the factions which were available. At the moment, the only ones important are Scaldarians, the Archons, and the Lost. The rest of them are closed and won't be open. But every round there's different ones open. And it shows you the populations, the percentages they have so far. The fleets, here you can go, you can see all the fleets you have. This gives you a way of just keeping track of them all in one place. If you go directly to this page, which is on fleets, you can see where they all are, see what they're doing, so you can find all the fleets which aren't doing stuff and move them on. This just shows you the amount of storage you have at your colony, how much it's going to increase by the next tick, how much space you have. So that's a good way of making sure you're not going to run out of storage. Again, if you have a mining colony, this will tell you all of the mines that you have on that colony, how much they're going to be producing. Religion, here you can see the religions. This is the amount of population in each of those religions. See, a lot of people haven't selected one yet. They should probably do that. Here you can see the scientists that you have. So we have that one guy. Oh, we have another person. I'm at 5 for construction. Let's hire that person. And he's ship construction, trade outposts, and the university statistics. This is just a general list. I don't think there's been any battles yet. Oh, there has. This might have been a mistake. It's normally a mistake this early in the game. This is just general battle report. You'll see the attacker and the defender, and you can see the aggressors. This one guy with a fighter. See the information about his ship there. You can see he got 1 kill. Or that type of ship got 1 kill. and it lost one. This guy lost one of these, which is a probe, so it had no combat capabilities whatsoever. You can see what happened. Just that guy's fleet encountered that guy's fleet while moving. This shows the kind of balance of the battle at the moment. So he has a 631 advantage. That's the name of the fleet again. It was trying to escape. It was killed. If you click verbose, it will show you the information. The comms go deadly silent as that thing is destroyed by the bank security. It failed. They win the battle. They survived. Battle log end. Just most of that. Let's go see the faction here. So here is the faction you're in. You can see the current president is Shinzen. It's 3 votes. Not many people have voted yet. More people will vote later on. There probably isn't too much going on right now, so it doesn't matter that much. See the people here. You can vote. If you want to run for leadership, you can run for leadership. You can vote for that guy, since you're currently supporting him. You can vote for nobody. This will change. The president can deal with the bank and has certain privileges within the faction for just keeping control of the forum and stuff like that. You can give a faction bank. So here you have the current facilities. If you are not a banker, or you are not a president or a treasurer, the treasurer is Tucson, you cannot move stuff from the bank accounts, but you can send them to them. But this is your own personal account. So let's send 100 credits to the research run. This is a terrible amount. I'm just doing this for purposes of this tutorial. So you can now see it sent money out of our account into that account. So that can be used for faction-wide research projects or colony trains, which are trains of large groups of people moving as one big fleet to a new place. And that's mostly that for factions. Here is, so you can just see the star map. Again, you can see our explorer. He is currently in between these two, so he is in open space, just hanging out. The map plugger, this thing is a way you can have, you can create like rally points or waypoints, markers using the coordinates, global coordinates. You can name them, put colour on them, and then once you've done that, if you select whatever one you want here, so if it's fleet names, you can click that, and then we want to see Alpha, which is the galaxy, generate the map, and it will show you the map, and on here somewhere, up here, I believe, that is us. I might have to cut that out because the other team will then know where we are, but you can see this map. That was Alpha. This whole thing here is just one. There is about 20 other galaxies around Alpha, which you can get to using wormholes. So there's a huge amount of space people to spread out to if they should want to do that. Alpha in the middle and the core is obviously a much more dense amount of stars. It used to be higher quality planets there. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore, but they will find good places here and people will fight over them. They're also lost, and again, as I said in the start, the lost are kind of spawning everywhere around this area. So you can run into lost in the middle very easily and either attack them or befriend them or whatever. This is stuff that you know in the universe. So if you want to find planets which are of an oxygen atmosphere and have a habitability of over 90%, you can do that. Click Geo, and then everything you've explored will be filtered into this list down here, and it will show that. It's a good way of just exploring those of stuff and then coming back to it later and saying, oh, I want one which has oil. And then it will show the ones with oil. You want one with fertilization, it will show you all the ones with fertilization. Once you have and you're an empire, you can do the same thing, except using your entire empire's exploration, which is going to show you way more if somebody has explored. But we do not have any extra stuff there. Logistics is just, again, this is just for putting in rally points. So rally points are useful if you want to build a strategic net of important locations and points. If you want to find a route between a certain place, so if you have a final destination that you want to get to, which is further than one jump, because fleets have a certain range limit. If it's further than that, you can put the start and the end in here, and it will show you the it will show you the route that you should take together, hopping between stars. And it will tell you if it can be done or if it can't be done. Latest battle, that's just there because some people like to have this, I'm not sure why. So, this is science, this is research. This is one of the most important parts of the game. Some people are absolutely love this stuff and get stuck in. Say if we want to create, we didn't have a mall, let's research a mall. Just using the ones that we built, these are the very basic research facilities. You select a budget, you're not going to want to go mad at this point, you're just going to want slow increments, so we'll just put in, say we have 300 million, let's put 10 million into it. And we have a scientist here, so these guys, for a mall, you're probably going to want a high amount of processing and production and maybe construction and medicine, I'm not sure. These things are different, like eventually if you want to be good at this you have to know which of these areas of expertise are going to produce the highest amount of quality for the specific print. So obviously weapons are going to want a high amount of weapons and construction. Ships, hospitals are going to want a high amount of medicine and construction. Drives are going to want a high amount of drives. Agriculture for mining for mining, processing, production, these things are where it gets a bit weird, but people know this stuff. So let's put both of those, this only fits 2 people, see it's a 2-man lab, so we have 2 scientists, put them both on it. Start the project. You can now see that the project is launched. So it's currently on 0 days, these are the people involved. It's estimation that it's going to take between 22 days and 34 days. The longer it takes, the higher the quality is going to be. But obviously you don't want it to take too long because you're going to be waiting way too long for the thing you want. Sometimes short and sweet is better. So we'll have to wait for that to be done. So just again, the scientist overview. You can see all the scientists you have. You can sort it by highs and lows. This is a good way if you want to, again, find the guy that's really good at drives. You can just do that. This is where we have blueprints. This is where it just shows the blueprints that we have for mining. We don't have them all. You have to research some of them or get them sent by other people. Eventually we have a lot of these and you can just hide them so they're not visible anymore. Again, you can offer things on the market down here. The same thing with all the ship hulls. So you have battleship hulls, bomber hulls. You have to research some of these before you get them. Everybody has a fire hull. Again, this is useless. There's one gun mount. It's super cheap. It costs no resources. It's very light. There's 3 engines. This is the layout. So if you have one gun, 3 engines, they all cost weight. So that only can fit 1.5k kilograms. So if you have too big of a gun, it will not fit. So one of the important things about these blueprints is you're looking for a large amount of layout capacity for the size, because the size is going to be what depends on the speed of the ship as well. So if you have 3 engines pushing 32 metric tons, the more tonnage it is, the slower it's going to be. The more engines you have, the faster it's going to be. You're going to have to make sure you have one small enough to fit into the ship while also fitting in all the rest you need, like armor and shields. That requires 1 crew. It's a very basic ship. Those will take more when they get more advanced, which can be a lot of population. When they blow up, all that pop dies. So you can't make a fleet with too many large amounts of crew. You can see the weapons again. These are the weapons that we have. These again, just the very basic ones. Cannons are for bombers. Gun batteries are for like capital ships where they're going to be firing back at things attacking them. Single barrel guns are for fighters, more of a direct attacking, fighting, dogfighting sort of weapon. You can see it does 1 shot with 1 damage, so that's 1-1, so that's not going to be doing too much. Gun batteries going to be doing 2, they're going to be shooting 5.75 shots per second, so that would just be a number added together to show how much it does every round of damage. And cannons do the same. They have a large damage factor but a very slow fire rate. Right, so designing ships. is an art in of itself. Here we have the basic blueprints that we have to start with. This is things which have been created by the system. So the Galileo is the probe that we have, so we can see the design of it here. See the cruise range, the type of engines it has, the type of the range, the travel speed. All this stuff will be increased by putting on a better engine, which we don't have at the moment. Let's just put back to that. So we can create a new one. So we have a basic fighter hull. By creating that, we can see here the mounts that it has. It has one single gun mount. There's no cannons, no batteries, no capacity to hold other ships. Obviously you have carriers which can do that. No transport. It has no cargo. It has no colonists that can fit inside of it. It has no scanner level. It cannot explore things. But it is basically useless. You'll never use this in any serious situation. We only have one drive. It's a single jet booster. There's three different types of drives. There's small vessel drives, which are for small ships. Capital ship drives, which are for big ones. Then you have a third class, which I'm not sure is activated, but it's for the drives which are basically so big and fast that they explode randomly. So gun types, see, it's just a regular roll. It shows you the amount of damage it's going to be doing here. One full strike, every battle damage tick is going to be 1 kiloton of damage. Here you can select the armor. Now this is where you can get deep, and you can select the amount of armor that you're going to put on. So obviously the more amount of armor you have on, the higher it's going to be protected. And you can see over on the left here that our layout is changing and our mass is changing. So the more you put on there, the larger the total mass of the ship. The free layout, you want to fill that up probably. The more you have, again, you can see the range is changing because it's getting heavier. And you can put a shield on. Shields are normally a lot heavier, so you're going to be able to fit on a lot fewer of those. It maxes you out. You can't go over the maximum limit. But you can just max out either one. You can see we now have minus negative layout, which means we won't be allowed to record this design. I hope. Yeah, it just won't let you do it. Let's get rid of these, because you don't really want that. That's good, there we go. Bad fire, record the design. Checks it through, make sure it's all good. It is. And you can now trade that. Let's just hold back here. These are the rules. You should probably have a little glance through these. It's just basically common sense. If something doesn't act in the way it should and you benefit from it, let us know. If it doesn't work in the way it should and it's to your detriment, let us know. We'll try and fix it. You cannot have multiple accounts. Just use one account, please. IPs are logged and reports thrown up when one IP is logging on multiple accounts. No racism, things like that. They're pretty cool. Flame Wars is you can swear at each other in their bliss, just not go overboard. You can run scripts, certain types of scripts, but we don't want people basically automating tasks. And if you do make a script, you have to make it available to the entire game, so you can't get an unfair advantage from it. Transferring money and people between people just for the sole advantage of giving one person an advantage is not acceptable. If you get banned, stay banned. If you know somebody breaking the rules, let us know. Griefing, intentionally joining factions or empires to screw them up, not allowed. And just basic information there that you should probably know from any other thing you've ever played. If we are going to expand our empire, we're going to need to put down more colonies. You can see in the background here I just sent off my initial starting ship to start a new colony. We need to create some colony ships. So we'll go here. Shelter Hope is the initial starting colony ship. Just create 2 of those. Oops. 2 of those, and let's get this done in 15 minutes. They'll now stop building those, and we'll come back when they are finished. So our shelter hopes have now finished building. Let's create a new fleet. And here we go. And here you can see you can load colonists onto it. So let's load up, fully load 2,000 colonists. They're now on the fleet, as you can see there. Go back to fleet navigation. Let's just send them to their death randomly on this planet here. We haven't explored it yet. Who cares? Normally you would know we were going, but just for the sake of this launch mission, it's going to take 13 minutes. I'm going to quickly hop over to my dev post and make that happen immediately, because I hate waiting. So that ETA is now immediately, which means that the next time travel process runs, which should be a couple of seconds or a minute. Here you can see the range. When you send out fleets, if you're going to be sending them in system, you're going to be fine, but it won't be able to reach some of these ones around it. So when you're on the screen, it has this green circle. You can see the edge of it here, which shows you the range of that fleet. So he'll be able to reach these ones quite easily. He wouldn't be able to reach out here. See our probe down here explored this other planet, this other system already. So now you can see multiple planets here as well. These are all nice, and eventually everywhere will be full up. I'm sure what that is. Someone's fleet is on the move. Nope, and our fleet just disappeared, which means it has arrived. See, it is now gone. That fleet has disappeared. It has turned into this new colony. And here she is. She's a dictatorship. Let's change it to democracy. Looks like changing the settings on the settings page didn't work, but I will fix that after this. Nobody told me that didn't work. Well, let's name this baby. If you use these variables down here, your colony will have this type of boring name, which will be the name of the planet or the system that it's on, which is good if you like having a big list full of just keep an idea of where all of your planets are. But you can also give them whatever stupid names you want. No one's going to arrest you for it. So there you have your new colony. Again, all this stuff is going to change. Education, happiness, all these levels will reach a plateau and they'll calm down. The first tick is always just a little bit weird of what you have. Don't think there's anybody else here. It wants us to rename the colony, doesn't it? Yes. Let's see, is anybody else here? No, we're here. We're the first people. Hallelujah. There's nobody nearby. We have no scientists yet because it's just arrived. But here we go, we now have 3 colonies. And we're ready to take over the universe. Just take a quick look at the settings page and some of the customization you can do if your user interface isn't quite how you would like it. If you go down here, you see you have a list here. You can list the amount of posts in the forums, how you want to sort your colonies. So if you have colony groups, you can sort them by group. You can sort them by location or how old they are. You can get emails every time you get a new star log message. I wouldn't suggest doing that. You can get important emails when important news is sent. You can display the capital colony at the top. It's normally the most important one, normally the one you go to the most. And you can make it display system names and colony names. It really fills up your list a lot. This will probably do something. You can set that to go to the end of every post when you go to a thread. Here you can change the universe map. There's a bunch of old ones. Some of these are better for slower machines or phones. The JavaScript version 2 doesn't really work that well in phones. And the Pseudo CSS is sort of a much simpler CSS HTML map. Doesn't use much processing power. There is a VRML support, which is kind of weird. You need to have a VRML client, which very few of those exist anymore. But that gives you a cool way to travel through the universe and stuff. Here you can select whether you want colonies on the left or right, or fleets on the left or right. Just have colonies on the left and fleets on the right. Just do the right thing. There is no advertisements anymore. We got rid of them. So all this stuff with stars used to cost money, but now it's free. This doesn't exist anymore. Here's to just stop people from sending you text disclosures. People could fill up your list and troll you by sending you loads of stuff. Date, change that stuff. Not sure why this didn't work before. Just click modify everywhere until it works. Hey, it didn't work. Whatever. So up the top here, if you don't like this dark color, you can change the colors of everything. So the interface color, this is, you select the color and it will figure out the rest. I would suggest picking something dark, because it doesn't work that well, but it depends on lightness. So let's go with this nice pink. Let's click OK. Change. Let's go back to the settings page. Whoa! So let's make that even darker. And your settings have changed.